So let's learn something new today, and hopefully I'll provide everything you need to know to get started in AWS Lambda. We'll start by going over what serverless code is, what AWS Lambda is, we'll break down a Python AWS Lambda function, I'll take you through a full example with links to Github Code, and then we'll conclude. Timestamps are in the description, let's get started. So what is serverless code? Serverless code is where a cloud provider offers a serverless runtime environment for you to execute application logic without having to manage the underlying resources and infrastructure. So what does this mean? It means that all you have to worry about is writing the application logic. Today, we're going to be covering AWS's serverless runtime environment infrastructure, Lambda. In its simplest form, AWS Lambda lets you run code without managing any of the underlying server infrastructure. AWS Lambda only runs your code when needed, and you only pay for the compute time that your code uses. Some example use cases are data processing, for example, resizing images, backends, for example, processing API calls to retrieve data from a database, and you can find and read more about more use cases on the AWS Lambda product page. But today, we'll be tackling image resizing. The event parameter is used to pass event data. Most of the time, this is a dictionary type in Python. The data is usually the API call data, for example, an API call with JSON data, or an event that has been triggered by another AWS service, example, an event on an S3 bucket for a put. The context parameter provides the handler function with runtime information, such as memory limit in megabytes, function version, and many more. It also provides a method for getting remaining time in milliseconds, which returns the number of milliseconds left before the Lambda function times out. To log through function code, you can use Python print method or any library or any method that writes to standard out and standard error. This logging output is then saved to CloudWatch logs. So environment variables offer you a way of setting script variables outside of your code with the AWS Lambda console. For example, set the name of an S3 bucket or even store secrets securely and not hard-coded in your function. This handler function can also return data in the form of JSON if required. It is not mandatory to have a return statement. So this is the Lambda function written in Python. I'll try to explain it my best, but feel free to pause it and read the comments if required. I feel like I've commented it enough to where it's pretty self-explanatory and well documented. So this is actually my take, or at least my commented and extrapolated version of the example code that they give you for the AWS sample, talking to S3. So at the very, very top, you can see we've got a whole bunch of imports. We've got import for Bodo3, and we've got import for Pillow. The Pillow import's used for image resizing, and the Bodo3 is used for communication to the S3 client. At the very, very start, you can actually see that I print Lambda S3 function start. This is just so that they appear in the watch logs, and so that I know that when the Lambda function starts and starts correctly, that will be printed in the logs. You can see we define two variables, one's size and one's the S3 client, and then we go down into the definition for resize image. So this takes two parameters, the image path and the resize path. These both parameters are provided by the definition of the Lambda handler. Now the Lambda handler definition is actually used or is called by Lambda to begin the code. So this resize image definition is actually just used to resize the image, and that's about it. So down here in the actual Lambda handler function, or definition in this case, we can see that we print that the handler is called and that we start to iterate through the records that the event parameter has been provided. So in these records, we find the bucket and we find the key being the object or file name, and the bucket being the bucket that has been uploaded to. In this case, it's our test bucket that we have the event set. I'll explain that later. Print, we're going to print what has been the key and what has been the bucket, again, just for logging and ease of reading. We're then going to remove all forward slashes from the file name and then assign two path variables that are actually internal in the Lambda environment. So this is /temp, and this is going to be a UUID or a GUID with the temp key variable, and it's again going to be a resized path with the temp variable again. So then we're finally going to download the file that we read from the key in the bucket, and then we're going to download that to the download path. We're going to resize the image, and then we're going to upload the file back into S3. And you can see here we've got more logging for resizing the image, and then finally we've got a print images resized complete so that we know that the Lambda function is fully completed and completed successfully. Finally, we've made it to the AWS console. Let's start the example. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is create the role in IAM for the Lambda function to access S3 and CloudWatch. So if we'll go over to IAM and we go to roles, you can see that I've already created a Lambda S3 role. Don't worry, I'll go through how to create this role right now. So we'll go create role, Lambda, next. We're searching for Lambda execution policy. Select that one, add tags if required, then add a name and a role description. I'm not going to complete that process because I already have a Lambda S3 role that I'm going to use, so let's continue on to Lambda. Okay, once we're on the Lambda homepage, let's create a new function. Create the new function name. I'm going to call this S3 bucket image resize. And we're going to select the runtime of Python 3 because that's what we programmed. Use an existing role, and we want to set that S3 role that we just created. Create the function. And now this is a blank function. Let's upload our file. Now that that file is uploaded, let's set a few environment variables and basic settings for the Lambda function. One of our environment variables is called upload bucket, and the name of our upload bucket will be this. That can be set to whatever you name your bucket. So now let's go to basic settings, change the timeout to about 10 seconds, and give it a bit more memory. Let's say 512. Once we have all these settings set up, let's move on to S3 and set up our buckets. Okay, so we're now in the S3 management interface. First thing that you're going to want to do is create 2 new buckets. You can easily create a new bucket with a DNS compliant name. Now one bucket will be where the images are first uploaded. The second bucket is where the Lambda function will upload its images once it's done resized. In our case, it is this upload test bucket that we have here for the Lambda function. Now this has been set in our environment variables, but it can be named whatever you'd like. But first, to trigger that Lambda function, we're going to need an event on the first bucket. So if we click on the first bucket, properties, click on events, we need to add a notification. Let's call this one Lambda image resize. And this needs to be put on a put event. We need to select a Lambda function, and we will select the Lambda function that we just did. Once that's been set, we can test that our Lambda function is working by uploading an image. Here's the image I'd like to upload, so let's upload this image and see what happens. That image has been uploaded, which should have sent a put API request to that Lambda function. Let's go into the next bucket, and there it is. Now, the reason that we have 2 buckets is simple. If we uploaded to the same bucket, the Lambda function would get stuck in a loop and continually downsize or continually create files of that size, wasting Lambda resources and S3 bucket resources. And that's it. Hopefully you've learned something new in this video, and I hope that you now have enough knowledge to at least get started in AWS Lambda with Python. Thanks for watching.